So Matt, let's begin by telling me what happened on the 27th of December.
Right, mate. So I'm overseas in England. I'm on holidays. I came over for 2 weeks. It's Boxing Day. Boxing Day, I went to go watch the rugby with childhood friends, just as I normally would if I was here. Went out into town. Went into a nightclub. Left the nightclub. It were about 11 o'clock. I was like, right, it's time to go home. Instead of going right, I went left. I walked down the street and I seen a new bar that I'd never been in. So I was like, you know what? I'll see who's about, see who's in there. It's Christmas. I don't want to go sit in my hotel room alone. I'll go spend a couple of hours out. I walk into a bar. The bar's full. I end up walking in. I actually see friends that I used to play against 12 years ago. As you can imagine, it's Christmas. Everyone's having a good time. And beers are flowing, banter's flowing. Everything's going great. I'm having a good time. And then I break away from the group. I go to the toilet. Didn't know where I was going, so I'm like to the bouncers, look, can you show me where the toilet is? I go down to the toilet. On my way back, I go to the bar, stood at the bar with one of the boys. I get this little nudge. Obviously, at this point, you can imagine the bar's full. Everyone's about. You get nudged all the time. It doesn't really matter. I didn't think much of it. I turned a little bit. Next minute, pint glass straight through my face. Everything went fully black. I actually thought someone put something over my head. I didn't really know. There was no real pain or anything like that. It just bang, hit me, fell down. The attacker fell down with me and pushed the glass into my face. And then he ran off and left me. And yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. It was in seconds, you know what I mean? No one could do anything. It was just that quick.
What were your thoughts straight away when this happened?
Honestly, when it happened, I'm just like, I'm laid on the floor. One of the boys is like, look, you've got glass in your face, in your eyes. Don't touch your face. I'm like, please, no, don't be blind. Please do not be blind. And yeah, as obviously time goes on, and minutes are going by, blood's pouring out of my face, pain starts kicking in, fear. Honestly, it was a tough one to swallow. And yeah, I started to realise I'm blind. I get taken outside. Luckily, there were an ambulance around the corner. The ambulance pulls up. I get put in the ambulance and I'm like, right, what's going on? I'm asking how bad it is to people, and people are like, oh, Doc, you'll be going to be all right, going to be all right. I'm like, please, someone just tell me how bad it's going to be. At this point, someone's already rang my brother. So my brother's on his way. My brother's jumped out of the car. And my brother gets to the ambulance door, and I'm like, please don't tell me how bad it is. And he's just like, it's bad. And then I was just like, oh my God, I'm never going to see my kids again. Never going to see my partner. And yeah, then anger starts. I was just getting angry and I couldn't calm down. And yeah, I got rushed to A&E. And my mum turned up, and that's when it just hit home. I heard my mum's voice. And then I'm like, she's trying to calm me down, just settling down. And she's like, the nurses couldn't pull glass and stuff out of my face because I was kicking off. They're like, mum's like, please stop, calm down. And my mum started cleaning me and pulling glass out of my face. And I'm just like, please, mum, how bad is it? And she's like, it's going to be all right, son. But she was pulling glass out of my face, getting upset. And it were. I just kept repeating myself, and obviously I'm panicking like mad. And next thing I know, I wake up next day and I'm in a hospital bed and everyone's around me.
So it's May 30th now. You're still in the UK. So you live very close to me in Australia. Mm-hmm. Your family's here. Your 2 kids. You've still not been home. They've come over to see you, your partner, and have you seen? Because you had a newborn as well, right?
Yeah, correct. So I had my daughters. So by the time when I left, my daughter was 9 months. So I hadn't seen my kids obviously since I left. My partner came over a month after the accident, the incident happened, and yeah, she came over for 5 days. Obviously, she's a full-time working mum, My kids are in school. My son's in school. He's 3, and yeah, my daughter is 9 months now. She's obviously past a year old, so I still haven't seen them. So,
and what's the procedure at the moment? So everything that's happened, I take it that you've been to see numerous eye surgeons. Give us an update about what progress, if any, has been made.
so the left eye has had 1 operation. That had a big gash straight through the middle and 10 cuts in it. So I had 10 stitches, and then they stitched the eye internally. For the cornea, the iris, and the lenses were all cut in half. So that eye's just been sewn up and left. And they said, look, at the end of the day, we're leaving this for at least 9 months, and we'll look at that in the future. So basically, left eye alone. All I can see is shapes and colours, like blurs and colours. So if I'm stood at a table and there's something on a table, there's a black cup on a white table, I know it's there, but I just can't, it's just a blur. I can't picture the cup. So nothing much is going on with the left eye. The right eye, I had 30 stitches in the right eye, damaged. I've got no iris, I've got no and no lens, and the retina was detached. So I've had 5 operations on this eye now. I'm 4 weeks post-surgery of the 5th operation, and the retina is still attached. The 2 previous surgeries to attach the retina failed after about 10, 11 days. It kept detaching. So it's a positive that I've got past the 4-week period. You have to get really to an 8 to 12-week period for them to be happy. But yeah, as the eyes go, I've got multiple surgeries moving forward.
And what's the time frame they're thinking? When I spoke to you last, they're looking at what, the end of the year before you'd be able to come home?
Yeah, write the year off. Basically, me personally, mate, I go in there, and you can imagine I've been there 5 months now, and I'm getting a lot of ums and ahs, and they don't want to say too much. So what they were saying is last time, I'm like, look, I need you to just be honest with me and hit me with it, because I need a timeline, because I haven't seen my family, and I'm going to end up moving my family here if I have to stay. And the surgeon's just like, look, I'm going to be honest with you, Matt. You're looking at normal circumstances would be about 3 months. He goes, what's happened to you is tragic, but look, you're going to have to write the year off. We've got no expectation to get it done in 3 months. You're going to look at another 6 months, possibly more. There's no guarantee with this. They said to me when they were attaching my retina the first time, or you could possibly go on within 6 months. But look, I'm sat here now coming up 6 months, and there's no real progress with my sight.
So from knowing you and what you're like, and even from hearing about you before I'd met you, you're an active person, played a lot of sport, played rugby. You were getting into your kind of Ironman. Do you do any ultras? What tell me a bit about your sporting background up until this point?
Sporting background, mate. It's like started rugby at a young age. Always love all different kinds of sports. We're involved in everything, swimming, all stuff like that. All school sports, you can imagine what it's like over here. Cricket, basketball, football, rugby. You're involved in pretty much everything, and I loved everything about sports. And from a young age, played rugby. Then up until about 20, I was playing at Leeds Rhinos. I left that academy, and I went to Australia, and I got into we were playing rugby in Australia 5 or 6 years, and I started going to a CrossFit gym. Got into Olympic lifting, CrossFit, and then it just started to spread out into sort of the Ironman triathlons. Got into triathlons, and then it just kept growing and growing, and it's like, how far can I push this? Started doing marathons, and then I was just like, look, let's see how far I can push myself. And then did an Ironman. Want to do an ultra. Want to do many things, mate. But as you know, and people who know me, I love pushing the boundaries of how I can push myself. I'm not built like an ultra runner, do you know what I mean? But I definitely will give it a crack, that's for sure. But the situation that I'm in, my life it's hard to comprehend, honestly. So it's changed drastically.
If we were to take you and just put you in a box, and if you'd never been glassed, and I said to you can't train for 6 months, you're looking at a horrible sentence as someone who's active and trains. So to have the ability, because you've been told you can't train, so you've had your eyesight and your ability to exercise pretty much taken away from you. Tell me what that's like.
honestly, man. It's I sit still and just I'm twitching, thinking about I need to get better. I need to be moving. I need to be doing stuff. All my life, I've done whatever I wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? I'm a very independent person. I don't need any help from anyone. And I've gone from doing anything I ever wanted, doing any sport, doing it, just living my life, what I want to live. And it's all been taken from me. It's so hard to put into words how it feels. It's, yeah, everything. It feels like everything's been taken from me, but that's sort of a bit naive because there is a lot of people that I know, and there's a lot of stories and a lot of messages that I've got, and a lot of people have gone through a lot more worse suffering than I'm going through. But the person that I am, and I want to be always outside. I always want to be pushing boundaries, pushing limits. It's just been taken from me, and it's going from the top right down to the bottom and rebuilding. It's crazy. It's unbelievably crazy.
Now, I've been watching you very closely the last few months. A lot of kind of positivity stemming from you. Is it real?
Yeah, it's, if I'm not positive, mate, what am I going to do? Do you know what I mean? I've got to think every day I wake up, I've just got to be like, right, I've got to get better. I've got to get home. I want to get better to get home to my kids. And there's no point me sitting here and going, right, I'm blind. I'll sit here, I'll get fat, I'll drink myself to death, and I'll cry about it. What am I going to do with that? Because I'm still able-bodied. The only excuse I've really got is that the surgeons tell me, look, your sight's bad. We don't really want you to train. But either way, I still get up in the morning early, get on the treadmill, walk, ice bath, do exactly the same as I would to try keep my mental game just in check. And it is what it is. I have to be positive. I ain't got a choice.
It's inspiring to see that. You know, I've been watching, and I'm not gonna lie, from where I sit, I'm like, how the fuck is he doing this? You know, and when I found out, when Tay told me, I literally felt sick to the point. I'll be honest with you, I spent 24 hours trying not to think about it. And then the more I tried to do that, it just made me think about it more. Like, even my manager, my business partners, it was the first thing I spoke about when I saw them. I was like, I thought I might have been having a tough day. You know, I was like, oh, I'm a bit stressed. Oh, there's this happening, there's that happening.
James, I'm
And
telling you, man, it's meant. It's honestly, it's. You think about it, and I remember the day after it happened, and people are sat around my bed, all my family, my brothers, my mum, my dad, and some of my good friends. And one of my good friends stood up and walked out the room, and he got sick in the corridor. And he said to me a couple of weeks after, he's like, it was like you were dying, like we were all just sat there and you were dying. He's like, it was just, it's hard to comprehend how quickly your life can change, and it can just be all taken from you. And I'm sat there just thinking, this is the worst case I could probably get in. The worst one that we're thinking of. I'm like, my sight is everything. And yeah, it's, but what can I do? Yeah,
and I knew that I'd be speaking to you today. There's, you know, although there was a very small part of my mind that was excited to catch up, I'm very keen for this conversation, to the benefits it can have, and we'll get onto that in a bit. But at the same time, I've kind of been looking at my diary with a bit of anxiety into knowing how much I'm not going to enjoy hearing what you say. I'm currently sweating just through, you know, the uncomfortable. I'm living through this secondhand, and it's making me feel kind of ill. So before we get into so many things I want to ask you about, the person who committed this crime has been caught. Tell us about this process.
So obviously this happened. The police obviously were there for the week after, coming in, telling me we're looking for him, this and that. My brother took to social media. My brothers are obviously know a lot of people as well in Leeds. The young lads, they know a lot of people, go to gym, this and that. They're all electricians, so they're in the trade game. So this lad who did this to me, he's a 37-year-old man. He's been charged 15 times. He's got 10 convictions, 3 of which are the exact same thing against me. He's hit someone with a weapon, used it as a deadly weapon. Mate, he shouldn't have been in that bar, and he should not be able to be around civilians. how is that even fair? Do you know what I mean? He's on license and he's walking into a bar, admitting that he's had 15 pints and he's on cocaine. 6 days later, when he handed himself in, the drug tested him, he was still on cocaine. It's just ridiculous. And and there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, he's gone to prison, but look where he's left me. He's ruined my life. I say he's ruined my life, but he's took a fair chunk of time out of my life. Do you know what I mean?
And for what? You know, if you'd provoked him, if he was self-defense, if it was anything comprehensible, but unprovoked to want to do that to someone, you know, like you're saying, if he's got a history of doing this, why wasn't he locked up? Why wasn't he, you know, ankle tagged, curfewed? Like if we've got
tag,
dangerous people.
I agree, mate. Do you know what I mean? Tag, where's the tag at? Keep him on tag, keep him indoors. Do you know what I mean? Or at least, yeah, put a time limit on him. This bloke's out nearly at midnight, off his head, and he's been asked plenty of times why he did it, and he said he doesn't know. What do you mean you don't know?
If you've glassed someone once, that should be it. You should never be allowed into an establishment. You shouldn't be allowed to drink. You know, like that to me is disgusting. And I've been trying to think about it as well. I even tried to say, was this someone who, because some people enjoy prison or they spend so long in prison that they look for a reason to go back. They come out to the outside world. They go, oh, what? I've got to pay for dinner here. I've got to find out a place to live. I've got to pay all of this. And they think, you know what? At least I've got a few mates in prison, and they go look for a reason to go back in. But you're telling me that he can't even remember why he decided to do it.
No, man. And there's this thing of, you get people like, it goes on Facebook and stuff, and people are like, oh, there's a reason behind getting glassed or something, this and that. I don't care what anyone says. He knows the truth and I know the truth. I didn't do shit to him. And he just used, I don't know why he would have done it. I don't know why. He doesn't even know why he's saying that he doesn't know why. But the thing is with it, you're a coward. If you pick up a glass and hit someone, you're a coward, full stop. And to do it from behind me, he knew for a fact, he was like, right, I'm going to have to hit him and really hurt him. Because if I don't, he's going to turn around and he's going to have a hard fight on his hands. And he didn't want that. So he's hit me and run off. And I'm just like, yeah.
So, and again, there would, in my mind, it would be so much easier to live with it if there was a reason. And if, you know, he picked a fight and you whacked him, then he hit you back with a glass or something. If there was like some kind of narrative here that made it make sense, it would be easier for everyone.
James, I would rather that. I would rather him say, or I would have rather have me done something to him than he's reacted and we got in a fight and something happened like that. I would much rather understand it. Every night I think about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm like, why would he do that to me? I walked into a bar and I'm being, rowdy. My rugby mates are there. We're buying drinks. We're having a laugh. I didn't leave my table, causing any problem. Then I find out a few days later, this bloke's going round in a bar, going to random tables, asking people for arm wrestles. Come on. You're nearly 40. Get a grip.
It's very true. It's very true. It's still equally disgusting and hard to even think about. So from a professional standpoint, you are a very accomplished electrician. You've got a great business. You actually fitted the solar panels on my house. And despite one of your boys in your team nearly letting my dog run away, you know, the competency of everything that, you know, was involved within that. Where are you left with your business now? Because like even up until this point, anyone in the area, a lot of people know you through training, fitness, the gym, like the Ironman. You're like a pretty big character around here, but then also your business was doing really well. Well, where are you left with that now, being stuck in the UK?
Honestly, mate, very lucky of where I'm currently at. The lads who work with me are unbelievable. They've picked up, obviously, where we left off. We had a Christmas break, and then they're like, look, Matt, we ain't going nowhere. We'll do the best we can. And yeah, they've all pulled together. An electrician who used to work for me has come back, and he's filled a spot for me. And they've just kept going, mate. And I owe a lot to these boys. Do you know what I mean? And I think there would be certain people who have employees and something happens to them and the employees are like, all right, the boss is gone. That's it. Let's do one. We don't need to help him. But they've all come together and yeah. Mate, they even go around and out my missus and stuff. And they're asking to mow lawns and wash my cars, and they're helping out, mate. It's unbelievable. So I'm very appreciative of it.
And anything you ever need from anyone in the Wollongong area, you know, we're only ever a message away.
I can't believe it, mate. I can't honestly believe it. Some of the messages I've had from people, I'm just like, geez, I didn't know this many people even liked me. Never mind.
It's as far as, you know, support benefits, people I suppose probably think out there, oh, if something bad happens, if you're at work and, you know, you crush your hand, or you know, you chop your hand off, or you get hit, whatever, there's compensation, that you'll be looked after. You'd like to think that all the money that the government steal off you on an annual basis would go towards some good kind of support structure. And talk to me about, you know, the operations. Was this all done through NHS? Was there any private doctors or eye surgeons that kind of put their hand up going, I would like to help? As far as compensation, what have you been offered? What's the kind of current standard around that?
So the current situation I'm actually in, with the compensation and things, there is a compensation for people who've been attacked and things like that, but there's a 12-month waiting period on that. So I won't hear anything for up to a year. I did try contact them and tell them my circumstance, but I've heard nothing. As for the eye surgeons and the hospital fees and everything like that, the NHS cover that. St James's, the eye clinic, have been honestly unbelievable. The nursing staff, the doctors, absolutely unbelievable. I stayed in hospital for 5 weeks, and usually I run a all-male ward, and they said, look, no one can stay. They let my mum stay. My mum actually laid on the floor on a mattress for 5 weeks next to me. So the hospital and everything have been unbelievable. So I can't knock that. As for like any disability payments or anything like that, there's actually nothing I can claim. So no carers allowance, no PIP, nothing. And the reason for that is I ran the welfare office, and they said to me, because you haven't been a resident in the country for the past 2 years and you've been away, there's actually nothing you can claim. So, yeah.
And if you were to come back to Australia, is there anything that you'd be able to be entitled to here?
Yeah, luckily. Do you know the super fund? I've got insurance from my super fund. So if I'm ever disabled or partially disabled, I'm just looking into that now. There is a payment, and there's also an NDIS scheme in Australia, which we're just starting the paperwork with that with the surgeons. They've actually wrote me off as disabled until further notice, and I won't be able to return to work till 2026.
And I'm sure you'd be open to like anything. I'm not sure how many people were listening to this conversation, but has there been any like wild cards or Hail Marys, or like, let's get Matt on a private jet to Mexico, let's get some eye transplant going on, you know?
Nah, there's none of that.
Peptides,
None of that.
like stem cells. Is there anything that, like, is there any even discussions that doctors are saying, hey, the technology could be available? Like, that, I suppose all of us want to kind of imagine a utopian world where they're like, oh, do you know what? In a couple of years' time, there could be things that they could do, eye replacements, you know, trading, you know, getting a cadaver retina,
we've had this conversation, and my brothers have sat there in front of the surgeons, and these surgeons are looking at us, 3 electricians, and they're like, my brothers are like, so what if you took one of my eyes and put it in his head? These surgeons are like, lads, this is not electrical, yeah? Just keep it, get outside. It's all good.
But surely, like, you know, there must be something. There's actually Darren, one of my good mates, used to train a blind guy in Fitness First in George Street, and his name was Scott, and he got a rare eye disease at 26, 27, and he just started a very successful business. So he bought his first Porsche at 26, and he was fully blind by 27. And he was one of the most positive people I've ever met. The fact he was stonking rich was one of the reasons, I'm sure, but his mindset, that I'll never forget, kind of like what he said. I said to him once, I was like, mate, how are you happy? You don't have the one thing that I cherish so much in life. And I remember him saying to us, he goes, lads, no matter what, you'll be all right. And it was such a simple statement, but it meant so much. I've even put it in my second book, where I was really inspired to see someone who was fully blind just living. But I still deep down don't think that I'd be man enough to do that.
It's an hard one. It's an hard one to take. And do you know what, James? I'm sat in this situation, and there is some hope that I will get some vision back. The next time, if I get my eyesight back and I see anyone blind or anything like that, they're getting the biggest hug, because I do not understand how I would have. If I have to go on now, being blind, it would be unbelievably tough, mate, to take. Unbelievably tough. It's honestly. Hopefully there is good news for me. Do you know what I mean? And I am going to be lucky enough to see again. But being fully blind for the rest of my life would be, I don't know, hard.
And we kind of spoke about a few things, and people on you had your 5 minutes or so on TV, and some people, it disgusts me that when we spoke last, people kind of for a bit, it was on trend. Oh yeah, let's get Matt on, let's hear his story. But then people kind of stop wanting to have that conversation. You say that even now MPs, members of parliament, aren't really getting back to you. There was hope in the fact that maybe the atrocity that occurred to you could change policies in the UK and the nightclub scene. Explain to me what kind of things that you're looking to do to prevent things like this from happening ever again.
I think if the glass is eliminated, none of this, we don't have this conversation. Do you know what I mean? And there is thousands, and I mean thousands of people getting attacked with glasses. 87,000 people per year. Now, we're not talking that's a small number, right? And I think you eliminate the glass, you eliminate anyone hitting with glasses. Mate, once a glass is smashed or a bottle is smashed, it's a knife, let's be honest. You stab someone with it, it's a knife, right? You get rid of the glass, this stops happening. Bottles stop getting smashed on the floor. People don't cut their feet. Just simple. I know it sounds, well, why do we need to do that? Well, why not? Protect the people that are coming to spend their money in your bar. They want to come there and have a good time. Not to be worried about, what, if someone's having a bad night and they're off their head, they're going to smash a glass in my face, or they're going to hit me with something. This is happening to males, females. People are getting killed with glass. It's insane. And as you know, Australia, them pint glasses that they have in Australia, even in like Coogee and that, it's the glass feels almost the same. And like you care, does it really make a difference if you know that everyone in that pub's going to be okay, and no one can start throwing glasses or smashing glasses? You know what I mean?
So you've got a petition going on at the moment, and how many signatures have you got on that?
Over 12,000.
And how many were you told you would need to get for something to kind of be put forward as to be considered into like a new legislation?
Yeah, 10,000 to get someone's attention to take it to Parliament, an MP to pick it up and take it to Parliament.
And what have you kind of heard back in the meantime?
Zero. Nothing from any MP. My local MPs sent emails, all Instagrams, Facebook, everything, and repeatedly sent them, just constantly. But what do you do? Who's going to listen to a bloke from Wollongong? Not really interested, are they? As long as it's not knocking on their door, causing them problems, they're not asked.
Which is disturbing. And another reason I was so keen to have this chat today, because I feel so many people, hopefully someone of influence and in a position that can help listen to this, who can do something. But also, I think so many people, myself included, just take it for granted when we go out, when we're very vulnerable human beings. We forget that until you see a car crash at like 40 miles an hour and you see the damage that can occur to someone. The people that hit their head, get king hit, brain aneurysms, all of these things that occur. Life is a lot darker than people can sometimes realize, and sometimes they need a reality check to, the fact that you didn't get many likes on your last Instagram post isn't a reason to be upset today. In a perfect world, looking at the landscape of everything, obviously we would love for you to regain some kind of vision, to be able to live your life, see your kids, watch them grow up. Outside of that, whilst we're waiting for surgeons, recovery, all of these, what kind of things would you like to see? Is it about getting more signatures on the petition? Is it about more people talking about this? What would you like to see people do?
I think, obviously they're talking about it. That's what makes the movement, doesn't it? They're only going to start listening when people start talking about it and bringing it up. I think that something needs to change, James. They don't even ID people. They're not even IDing people walking into bars. Are you actually being serious or what? You don't even know who's in there. So, first of all, in the UK, they need to crack down on IDing people. Get the ID machines that all work so easily, and every nightclub and bar can concentrate on who's being kicked out and control who's coming in and who's going where. The glass, get rid of that. Let's get plastic. It's not a big thing. It's not a massive change. It probably will help you in the end, and it will. Everyone around you will feel comfortable. But like I say, who's listening? It's hard to get people's attention, especially just me messaging people. They're not going to listen. And like I said before, it's not affecting them. So that's why naught gets done, especially in this country. Very selfish, very.
You know, I usually used to hate those machines with the driving, the driving, get your licenses out. I'm like, oh, mate, give over. I'm not Al Qaeda. You know what I mean?
Give it a
When
rest.
I'm walking
Why
in.
are you IDing me? Chill out. I'm 35. Leave me alone. But, mate, at the end of the day, you're right. You know who's in that building. And if whoever kicks off gets kicked out and they ain't getting in nowhere else because they've been kicked out of there, and it takes all the trouble out of your environment, and everyone who's in there wants to have a good time. And, mate, come on. Who goes out to have a bad time? You're going out to drink and have fun, have a dance, and go home to your family. That's it.
I remember I was in for a shock first time I got to Sydney. I'm sure you're the same. I went to that bar under base backpackers, and the bouncers in Australia, you know what? I've always thought they're on a bit of a power trip, but now I'm actually like, do you know what? I'm okay with it. But he says to me, sorry, mate, your license is voided. It's expired. And I said, yeah, why is it expired? He goes, well, it's over 10 years old. I said, what's the minimum age that you can drive? He goes, 17. I was like, well, I'm obviously 27. He was like, no, you're not coming in with an expired license. I was like, this fucking thing proves I'm 10 years older than I need to be, and you're not letting me in. So we go down to the Argyle where I get kicked out for being drunk. And he's like, mate, you got to get out, you're drunk. I'm like, that's what I've come here for. So like, I all my life thought that these are the biggest pain in the asses. But like you say, just knowing that people in there haven't caused any trouble before, at least knowing that, you know, similar to Australia where people are on good behavior because they know if they get in trouble, they won't be allowed back in again. That's it's like you say, it's pretty worrying that some little intervention in a bar, just checking IDs, that person might have been turned away. And, you know, the amount of people that have got mental health disorders, they've got drug addiction problems, booze problems, all of that, they shouldn't be mixing with other people. They shouldn't even be allowed to drink.
It's the drinking and the drugs in it. The drinking and the drugs, and then when you're upset and you go out, look what this can cause. You can just ruin your life and someone else's just off a split decision. Something stupid, just absolutely stupid.
As the guy, has he spoken to you or said anything to you, apologized or anything?
Nothing at all, mate. And look, he's done this repeatedly, and he's not bothered. He don't care about me. He just left me for dead. For all he knew, he could have hit me in the neck and I'd have been laid on the floor bleeding out. He ran off.
It's disgusting. It's worrying.
Do you know what, James? I think about it all the time, mate, and I'm like, look, I'm in this situation, and it's been hard. It's been very hard for me to, like, be upbeat, and mate, I have dark days. Do you know what I mean? I do get upset, but I'm just like, what made him think he could do that and even get away with it and leave someone for dead? Imagine if he'd have killed me. I'd have never. My missus is flying to the UK to bury me. Over nothing. Nothing.
You know, I bumped into your missus about 3 weeks after it happened, and I was like, fucking hell, what a woman. She was like, your kids were around as well. She was just strong. She was just like, yeah,
rock solid.
She was
rock solid.
Mate, I was flabbergasted. I was like, that's Matt's missus. I was like, you know, not quite to say she was taking it in a stride, but I was like, Jesus Christ, what a strong family. And I suppose that I don't even want to know this, but what was it like when you had to talk to her and speak to her after this happened?
Mate, I'm telling you, that phone call. And you know what she actually said to me? This is actually pretty funny. She's ruthless with this, right? She knows I don't listen when I'm drunk and I do whatever I want. And she said as soon as we started talking on the phone, she's like, I told you not to go out on Boxing Day dinner. I'm like, don't do this right now. I'm blind. Like, come on, Matt. And she's just like, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? And she's straight down the line. She's gone through a lot, my missus as well, a lot of pain and suffering. She lost her brother, and she's been through a lot, but she knows how to hold it together and she knows what to do. And yeah, mate, she's been unbelievable through this process. Absolutely unbelievable. Looking after 2 kids, full-time mum. Yeah, she's got a lot on her plate and she's dealing with it.
What are you looking forward to most? Obviously, getting your eyesight back. You looking forward to coming back to Australia? Looking forward to, having a swim in the sea? Are you missing good coffee? Like, is there anything on your mind that you think about? Anywhere, any places you go in your mind that keep you going?
Every day, my kids, mate. My kids. It's all I want to see. So the plan is to fly my kids over next month for 3 months. So my kids and my missus are going to come live here for 3 months. And that's the only thing. To get up every day. Right. Got to crack on with today. Today's a new day. Just think about the kids coming, Keone coming. It's going to be okay. I'm alive. I'm here. Let's just crack on. And that's what it's been every day. And I've had my mum in my ear, my brothers, everyone around me has been like, look, shit happens. You've been dealt some bad cards, but it could have been worse. It could have definitely been worse.
And I suppose that's one of the kind of like the only things that we can take solace in is that you're still alive, you're still going. There was a fundraiser, me and my business partner contributed to it. What's that? Is there like a surgery? Is there something like, for me, I'm like, let's get $1 million and just find some mad eye surgeon somewhere that, like
a bionic eye. Just get me a bionic eye. Sweet.
God bless all of the surgeons in NHS and that, but surely there's someone out there who's too good to work for the NHS. Let's find him. Let's get Elon Musk, right? Let's get him in the room and let's find some kind of way. But with the money from the fundraising, like you don't have to tell me this. What's it being used for? Is it to get your family out? Is it to cover your bills, your mortgage? Talk to me about that.
That's correct, mate. Yeah. So you can imagine my business, for insurance reasons and stuff like that, I can't take any money from my business moving forward.
What? You can't take money from your business?
No. So if I started to pay myself and I was still on the books and things like that, my insurance policy won't cover. So basically, the insurance policy have said to me, look, we're going to go through giving you a payout. We have to understand your situation, how long this is going to be, and we'll give you a payout over the set amount of time. But in the meantime, you can't pay yourself. So you can't have a working job, right? So then I'm like, right, okay. So then the money from the GoFundMe and the money that got raised, that was to pay for flights to get my kids over. Also, it's a weekly payment for my mortgage. So it's paying my mortgage off. And then also any surgeries and checkups that I need going forward. Once I leave the UK, I'm going to have to get in Australia. So.
And I will share a link for that. Is it a GoFundMe?
It is a GoFundMe, yeah, mate. Yeah.
I'll get that into the show notes of this podcast, any clips we put online.
Yeah.
I'll put it in any position. I will also, if you'll let me, I would like to pay for the flights for your family to come home.
Stop it. No way.
No. 100%.
No way. No way.
No.
Thank
as long
you,
as they're not going
business,
or first class, mate, that would be the least that I could do in this scenario. Like, just let me know when or whatever the dates are, like anything. And I'm not just saying that because this is a fucking podcast. Like when you said that,
I know you're not. I definitely know you're not. But I've already paid for the flights. You don't have to do that.
Well, I'll be. Let me know how much it is, and then I'll donate the GoFundMe because, like,
James, don't even think about it. Get me some more solar jobs. And we're equal. It's fine.
Again, like any support that you need going forward, like if there's any slowdown in momentum, if there's anytime, the second you spoke to me before, I was like, mate, I hadn't done a podcast in about a year. I was like, we need to have this discussion. We need people to listen. And like, even if people would just like a tenner, 20 quid, something like that, for you guys, your mortgage, your business. What's the name of your solar panel business? I should know. I've used it.
Yeah, Syron Electrical.
Syron Electrical, Wollongong, Illawarra.
There you go.
Just don't get the battery. We haven't got the battery technology yet, apparently. But yeah, mate. Honestly, I would anything that I can do as a gesture. Even all right, if it's their accommodation when they're in the UK, something like it makes me feel ill every day. I think about what's going to happen to you guys, and as someone who is still in a position to be able to do everything I want, I can wake up tomorrow and do anything, and I don't take that lightly anymore. Ever since this has happened to you, but no, I want you to get your eyesight back. I want you to be able to get your life back, and anywhere that this is your time to say to people, how can they help you?
Do you know what, man? It's hard. I hate asking for help and things like that. I'm not that person, but even if it was someone just giving $5, do you know what I mean? Miss your morning coffee, whatever. But mate, I've had enough help, and I just need to get better and get home. I'm not bothered about anything else. I just want to be around my family and be at home. But if you wanted to help, just as little as anything, do you know what I mean? And every little helps, do you know what I mean? But
and to someone who was having a bad day today, someone who listens to this, maybe yesterday they thought they had a bad day. As someone who is remaining a beacon of positivity in what is a very low defining moment in your life, what advice would you give those people?
It can always be worse than what you are going through right now. I still, to this day, I'm sat in this situation. I'm still trying to run a business. And I said to one of the boys the other day, I was like, why didn't you go do that second job? And he's like, look, Matt, just stop stressing. Don't worry about it. I'm like, what's going on with you? And he's like, look, if I'm being honest, my cousin, he's going through a lot. He's a paraplegic. He went to a place flip out in Wollongong and did a front flip and snapped his neck. He's a paraplegic and he's 26. And he's like, stop stressing me out. It can always be worse. So you just get back on your treadmill and get yourself healthy and come home. And I'm like, fucking hell. It can always be worse. So just wake up. It's one bad day, do you know what I mean? If you're going through a little bit of a shit day, it's not going right, tomorrow's a new day. And that's it.
Your experience has been inspiring to me in a horrible, disgusting, dark way. And I think it will be to anyone who kind of listens to it. Like I've said to you many times before, off air, on air, incredible to see the person you are behind such a horrible thing that's happened. And I and everyone else that's invested in your journey kind of wishes you the best. I will put all links. Is there a specific website that people could go to if they're like listening at the moment?
There is. If they go to my Instagram, it's on the Instagram. The petition's on the Instagram. I could even attach the GoFundMe on my Instagram as well, so it's just easy to get to for everyone. But like I say, James, I just want to get home, mate. I want to get home, and the biggest thing for me while I'm here, I would love to be able to make a change and help people and save people from going through this. I would never want anyone to sit in the shoes that I'm in, and any family to go through what my family's gone through, giving up their time. And do you know what I mean? Everyone's done everything for me, and I'm so grateful. It's just, this can't keep happening, and I'd love to, before I leave here, change something and help someone else's life. Do you know what I mean?
And can you share your Instagram handle for everyone?
It's Matthew J. Syron.
Everyone who's listening, watching this, please go follow, be invested in the journey. And to any new followers that you get, Matt, you got to wake up every day and you got to show them you're remaining positive. Mate, I very much appreciate you coming on and having the talk. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing you back home on Australian soil.
Thank you very much, Matt. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.